Hey guys, Dr. Brown here with Kubo Math. We're here in Tarlac City, Philippines, and we're looking at an integration problem using secant squared x minus 1 as the identity that we're going to utilize. So we have the integral from square root of 3 to 2 of the square root of x squared minus 3 over x integrating with respect to x, or dx. Okay, if you notice, this thing just looks like secant squared x. It's of that form, secant squared x minus some constant. So let's let a equal square root of 3. And you know the form we're going for here. Okay, let's let x equal a secant theta. Dx equals a secant theta tangent theta d theta. Now let's plug in the blanks here. I'm going to leave the limits off for the moment. And we'll convert them, since we're going into the theta world, out of x into theta. I'm going to convert those to angles instead of x values. Okay, so we have the square root of x squared, and x is a secant theta squared minus 3, which is a squared, over x, and x is a secant theta. Dx is a secant theta tangent theta d theta. You may have to zoom in. I'm trying to save some space here. My writing may be a little bit small, but just zoom in. You can do it. Okay, the a's cancel, secant theta cancels, and I'm going to go ahead and square this. I have a squared secant squared theta minus a squared, and everything else canceled, times tangent theta d theta. What about my limits? We had x equals a secant theta, which means x, if I divide both sides by a, x over a equals secant theta. Well, let's let x equal square root of 3. And a was square root of 3, so that means 1 equals secant theta. So if I have a triangle here, that's theta, and x over a was secant theta. Okay, so, you know, cosine, it would be x over the hypotenuse, but it's the opposite, secant. So what does that mean here? I have x squared minus a squared is that side. Okay, so if x equals a, that means that angle is 0. So 0. Now then, if x is 2 square root 3, so x is 2, so what do I have here? 2 squared minus a squared, so that's square root of 3 squared. So that's square root of 4 minus 3 equals square root of 1, which is 1. Okay, so it's the old familiar 30, 60, 90 triangle. So I have square root 3, 2 square root 3, 1. So that gives me pi over 6 is what theta would be. That's 30 degrees. Okay? Now let's put that in here. We have pi over 6. I would encourage you to learn certain triangles. This 30, 60, 90. So this pi over 3 up here. This is pi over 2 in the corner. So from that 30, 60, 90, you can get then the tangent, cosine, sine of those angles from that. So I would encourage you to learn those things, just like 45 degrees is 1 square root of 2. So keep those in mind. This was pre-calculator days, I think. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and factor this. Pi over 6, I'm going to factor the a square out of both terms. So now I have a squared times secant squared theta minus 1 times tangent theta d theta. All right, square root of a squared is a times the integral of pi over 6 of, what's the square, secant squared theta minus 1 is tangent squared. So now I have the square root of tangent squared times tangent d theta. What's the square root of tangent squared? It's tangent. So I have tangent times tangent, which gives me tangent squared. Well, I need to convert that into something I can integrate more readily. So I have 0 pi over 6. I'm going to change this to secant squared minus 1. Secant squared theta minus 1, integrating with respect to d theta. What's the integral of secant squared? Tangent. Whoa. Okay, I've got a times tangent theta minus, what's the integral of 1d theta? Theta. And that is going from 0 to pi over 6. Okay. Now then, so what does that mean? I have square root of 3, which is a, times tangent 1 over square root of 3. Minus theta, and theta is what? Pi over 6. That, my friend, now we could multiply and have 1 minus square root 3 pi over 6, but we'll just leave it like this, because we've about run out of board. So we'll leave it like that right there. Okay, so that integral from square root of 3 to 2 is square root of 3 times the parentheses of 1 over the square root of 3 minus pi over 6. Now, I know some pure mathematicians out there, they may say, well, get that square root out of the denominator. Okay, I'll give you that. So square root of 3 times 1 over square root of 3 is 1 minus square root 3 pi over 6. Now then, that is a reduced solution. Okay, why are we doing this? Together we're trying to build a better tomorrow, and do that through math. Buy a kid a book, guys. Okay, support your local schools and these children. All right, that's all for now, and we'll talk to you next time. Keep studying.